Good morning. This is the first day of the rape gang inquiry, an inquiry that has been funded entirely by donations from members of the public. It is a matter of public record that Muslim gangs have been targeting white English girls. The Casey report of 2025, which looked at child sexual exploitation, stated that disproportionate numbers of men from Asian ethnic backgrounds were amongst the suspects of group-based child sexual exploitation. Baroness Casey went on to quote a number of local reports which indicated that a significant proportion of people convicted were of Pakistani and or Muslim heritage. There is evidence that shows that there have been rape gangs operating in towns and cities up and down the country. Indeed, the problem of the sexual abuse of children by these gangs has been known for some time. For example, the Labour MP Anne Cryer first acknowledged that there was a problem at the turn of the century. Jack Straw, the former Home Secretary, brought attention to the problem in 2011. There were public indications that there was a problem as far back as the 1990s, and the historic crimes may well date back to before then. It is clear that such egregious crimes impose a burden on a society to investigate fully what has happened in terms of the crimes committed and also in terms of the failures of the institutions who are meant to protect our young people. The failures of the state and the failures of the society as a whole must be investigated. In a healthy society, the burden extends to all of us to resolve, to ensure that action is taken to prevent such heinous crimes from happening. Indeed, it is a matter of public record that the crimes are still taking place, with some of the perpetrators still being brought in front of the courts in recent times. There has been a lack of political will to fully investigate and get to the bottom of what has happened. The Labour Party initially refused to have a public inquiry, and only after much pressure finally succumbed and decided to put an inquiry in place. However, that inquiry will not take place for a number of years, and many have expressed scepticism over whether it will take place at all. The Conservative Party also did very little about the rape gangs whilst they were in government. So it seems to me that a statutory national inquiry into what could be fairly seen as one of the most horrendous scandals of the long history of our country may not take place for reasons that could charitably be framed as political sensitivities, is one of the problems that requires investigation. This inquiry is survivor-led. Each day I will be joined by Sammy Woodhouse and one other panel member who will be an expert in their field or a member of Parliament. Each day of our inquiry we will look at a distinct area of the problem of the rape gangs to try and establish the whole picture of what has occurred. We will investigate parents and carers and their experience, pregnancy, abortion and children born of rape, whistleblowers who have not been listened to, policing and justice, social care, NHS services, including sexual health and mental health, education, taxi licensing, demographics, cultural and social issues. The media and social media and politics will also be looked at. This inquiry will be wide-ranging, and nothing will be left off the table, and we will not be restricted by misguided concepts of political correctness or cultural sensitivities. That is a promise that has been made to the thousands of donators. I reiterate that promise again. We will not shy away from the truth, and we're only interested in the pursuit of justice. We will be endeavouring to tell the whole unvarnished truth. We will have survivors come in every day of the inquiry, and we will give them a platform that has been so badly lacking over the whole period of this scandal. Whilst it is known that these crimes have taken place, the full scale and nature of the crimes are not widely known. We will make sure the true horror of what has taken place will now, at long last, be a matter of the public record. It must be remembered that we do not have statutory powers to compel witnesses to come forward. Everyone who appears will be a volunteer. We are heartened by the response we have had. As well as survivors, we have politicians, whistleblowers, experts, family members of the survivors, and more providing evidence. There are a few in prominent positions who have declined the invitation to come and give evidence. That seems strange to me. It's surely incumbent on everyone in society to do all they can to ensure that this terrible scourge on our country is removed. The lack of willingness to give witness testimony is evidence in of itself that will be weighed in the balance if accusations are made against certain individuals or organisations who refuse to provide evidence. I am conscious that the perpetrators of the crimes are the people who should take full responsibility. However, our reaction as a country must also be considered. When making recommendations, we will look at convictions that have already occurred and the sentences handed down, and make recommendations for prosecutions with regards to people and organisations, both for perpetrators and people who have not carried out their duty. It should be noted that it may well be the case that people in positions of authority with a duty of care may well have been the perpetrators as well. Why is this inquiry important? The country needs to know the full truth. It's clear to me from discussions and pronouncements from prominent figures in society that the full scale of the crimes committed is not known. The country needs justice. The country needs to stop this from happening anymore. We need to know why public agencies such as the police, social services, schools, and both national and local governments had failed so badly and indeed so catastrophically and failed our country's young girls and boys time and time again. This inquiry will come up with answers and recommendations. We need to understand as a country what has gone wrong. It cannot be the case that we as a country are helpless in ensuring that the rape gangs are stopped. That just cannot be right. We can help, and we will make recommendations. Indeed, take robust steps after this inquiry to protect the young girls of our country. We also state that this endeavour will be undertaken at speed. This is not an inquiry where we will make recommendations and think that that is our job done. Change must come. It cannot be right that another generation of girls are lost to gangs committing these disgusting and despicable crimes. Make no mistake, this inquiry will make recommendations to the government. These will come soon and these recommendations will be clear. And we will bring private prosecutions if the state is not willing to act. I would at this point say thank you to Rupert Lowe for making this happen. It is clear to me that his energy and focus has kept this matter where it should be, firmly in the public's focus. He's drawn a line in the sand and said, this cannot continue. I would also like to thank the inquiry team, who have carried out a remarkable job getting this inquiry together. Nat Enderby Shenton, Deborah Sudbury, Marlon West, Julie Ballon and Kerry Boone, led by Sammy, have done a remarkable thing getting this together on a fraction of the budget of most national inquiries. There are a number of facts that will come out of this inquiry that the panel will determine on the balance of probabilities. I'm acutely aware that the panel cannot prejudice future potential prosecutions. That is why there will be a short delay between what happens live within this inquiry room and what is broadcast. That is the right thing to do. We're not an inquiry that is a talking shop. We're an inquiry that's looking to achieve results. That means we have to act responsibly, and that is what we will do. It is also the case that this is a survivor-led inquiry. And whilst listening to the survivors, we owe them a duty of care. And it is right for that reason that there was a short delay before the broadcast. This inquiry will not shy away from asking whether there are cultural reasons why the rape gang crimes are taking place. We will be asking why the authorities seem so scared to take on certain minority groups. The inquiry will be answering many other questions on top of that, such as the adequacy of the law of the land, as well as the failures of multiple governmental agencies. It's worth noting again at this point that this is not a statutory inquiry. However, participants have signed a witness statement, and there is a duty of candour. Honour and good sense dictates that we must get to the truth. This is not an adversarial trial. The nature of these hearings is inquisitorial, and they will be conducted in that spirit. There have been constructive meetings with all participants, and a thorough and ethical methodology has been used while dealing with these witnesses. There can be no idea of witnesses being re-traumatised by this inquiry. Whilst I feel a keen obligation to allow the witnesses to tell their story, their safety both emotionally and I'm afraid to say physically, because of the situation that some of them still find themselves in, is of paramount importance to this inquiry. There will be some witnesses who have their anonymity protected. This is the right thing to do. I do not believe that this detracts from their evidence. Safety comes first, and this inquiry will deal with the participants sensitively, including dealing with any issues that they may have outside of this inquiry. This inquiry will also work constructively with the government and any other bodies in the future. We have two goals: justice for the victims and to ensure this evil of rape gangs is eradicated from these shores. With that in mind, it would be short-sighted not to work with others to achieve those aims. Whilst it is a wonderful thing that the donators to this inquiry have achieved, we're working on a tighter budget than the other inquiries. We're working on a stricter timetable. We make no complaint about that and make no apology for the fact that we will be moving at pace. The speed of the inquiry will not impinge on the quality of the evidence or get in the way of establishing facts. There will be some evidence that the panel peruse away from the hearings, as I consider it unnecessary to waste valuable time looking at the documents that speak for themselves. I will be available to recall witnesses or speak to other people after this inquiry has finished. And we will film any future examinations of witnesses. As I say, I will be looking to move at speed and aim to have the report recommendations published in short order. With all that in mind and conclude, I reiterate, we will leave no stone unturned in our pursuit of truth and justice, and we will proceed fearlessly when it comes to making recommendations to this government.